My name is Vasilios Antonopoulos, and today we're going to be taking a look at the South Carolina Senate race in 2020. First off, let's take a look at South Carolina's historical performance. Now, the state is typically thought of as solid red, a belief backed up by statistics. The last time South Carolina voted for a Democratic president, for example, was in 1976, when it voted for Jimmy Carter. Likewise, the last Democratic senator was elected in 1998, leaving only Republicans since. Recent polls, however, are showing an unusually close race. The Democratic and Republican candidates are uncharacteristically close, making for a neck-and-neck finish. This is especially interesting when one considers the gaps between the two originally reported. This leaves us with three main questions to consider. First, we have to figure out why the race is so close now. Second, we have to examine what is on the line for both the winners and the losers. And lastly, we'll have to make some prediction as to what will happen come Election Day. Taking a look at South Carolina's demographics, we see that while having a large white majority, the state still has a substantial black population. This makes the state much less red than it is initially given credit for. That being said, voter turnout is dramatically difficult to predict. In recent memory, South Carolina has seen a high of 75% in 2008 and a low of 42% turnout in 2014. In 2018, this number was around 54%, but it's hard to gauge this in terms of voter turnout in 2020, especially considering the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the ramifications of it. With this in mind, let's move on to the candidates. The Republican candidate is Lindsey Graham from Seneca, South Carolina. First elected to the Senate in 2003, Graham has since become a mainstay fixture of the GOP in Congress, participating in numerous important committees and subcommittees. He is helped by the fact that Southern voters are usually highly inelastic, meaning that they tend to vote consistently. As stated before, South Carolina has uniformly elected Republicans to the Senate since 1998, but even before this, the state consistently voted Democrat for president between 1880 and 1960. Because most whites tend to vote Republican and make up most of South Carolina's electorate, this gives an incredible advantage to him. Despite this, Graham is hurt by his stance on key issues such as affordable health care. His approval rating among Republican women in particular is shaky, with 56% disagreeing with his views. He also has a strange relationship with the president. Most South Carolina Republicans increasingly support the president, making Graham's rocky history with Trump a point of contention. Anti-Trump Republicans likewise don't approve of his most recent courting of presidential support, leaving him in a very hard place, not being able to satisfy either camp. In many ways, his challenger, Jamie Harrison, is the complete polar opposite. He has a short political track record, only running for the DNC chair in 2017, and is thus relatively unproven. Like Graham, however, he enjoys a built-in constituency. Most black voters are also highly inelastic, consistently voting Democrat. He also has seen an incredible fundraising season, outraising and outspending Republicans across the board. In addition, his previous obscurity leaves little room for attack. That being said, this works against him as well, as he also lacks Graham's congressional resume. In addition, he has to cover a large amount of ground to beat Graham's demographic advantage. While he is favored by educated whites, this may not be enough to overturn the Republican predominance in the area. Returning again to our initial questions, we see that because of state demographics and partisan issues like COVID and the president, the race was never as much of a blowout as initially thought. We also now know the stakes. Graham is a crucial member of the GOP infrastructure, as well as part of an increasingly competitive and partisan Senate. Next, let's make a prediction for Election Day. Now, unfortunately, however, I am not clairvoyant, and as such cannot be sure which way the race will shake out. On one hand, Graham has historically had the advantage. On the other, Harrison has been able to bring the heat, especially during a very chaotic time. Ultimately, however, the election hinges on how well Graham can keep his constituency voting for him. To this end, a relatively unheard-of competitor, Bill Bledsoe of the Constitution Party, is pivotal. While not outwardly competitive, third parties can still sap away support from the main two, in this case as protest votes. To our right, we see how the presence of third parties can affect the election, tying and in some cases even tipping the scale in favor of the Democrats. It is thus my best educated guess that Graham's victory in 2020 depends on how many Republicans are moved to vote Constitution instead. With that in mind, I hope this video was informative and quite honestly legible. Stay safe and have a good day.